Hello everyone, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus read. It's really funny, I just having a think there about, how I started off doing this and why I started the bonus reads off, because I thought sometimes I would do a reading and it would be very much about love, and I'd think, well, I'll go to the bonus read. I let Spirit lead these readings. I don't particularly want to do any sort of reading. I just do what comes up. So like you would a personal reading. So when I first started doing them and I'd get a real love reading up first, I'd think, oh boy, not everybody wants to hear about love. So, maybe I'll do another reading and maybe I can strike up something different for the second reading. Maybe Spirit will give me an insight into something that the other people need. But I've realised over time, and especially watching other readers on YouTube, sometimes if the messages are very strong and there's a real need to get that message out to people, and there must be more than one person, because you guys answer me lots of times and say this is exactly what's happening for me at the moment. So I think that there must be a reason why we get the same energies back again. I'm using the Good Tarot here. And sometimes when I do the bonus read, of course, we see the same cards coming out. I've had a bonus read where nearly every card's been the same, and I always use a second deck for that reason. And, you cleanse yourself in between. You sort of give yourself a bit of time to digest what's happened so that you know that that's the reading. And then the bonus read comes out exactly the same. Now, every now and again, you get like a continuation of the first read, which, of course, you would be doing if you were doing in a full reading. You would go and clarify and you would probably get a continuation. So sometimes that happens. Other times we get a completely different reading. So I don't know why that happens. I just trust that the universe is doing what it needs to do and I'm reaching the people that need to be reached. So that just needs to be said this morning. Seven of Pentacles coming out here. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is a beautiful card. This is about manifestation. It's also about having patience with things too. Sometimes we decide we want something, we put that out to the universe and we say to them, I want a new job. I'd like to have the job within the next 6 months. I want a job that I'm going to really enjoy. And what we do is we try to put that aside then, and we try to live like we already have the new job. That's how you manifest. So you imagine that the money's in the bank. You imagine you're already going to that job, that the job's already yours. And you wait. And this is what you're doing here. You're waiting. So you're being patient. You're waiting for the universe to manifest what it is you want. And you're just being patient. Oh, another 7. So we have the 7 of Swords behind that. Now that is a repeat card from Lots Cracking Reading. Now, the 7 of Swords is a card of the traditional meaning is about trying to get away with something. So whether that's something dodgy, whether you're just trying to get away with not saying something. I've had that card come up sometimes when people are trying to sneak away from relationships without actually saying anything about it. But this guy's trying to get away with something and he's taking all his ideas and thoughts with him. So he's learned from a situation and he's trying to get out. Now you have the 6 of Cups coming in here. So we've got something from the past here that happened to us in the past. Something that we're waiting on a decision for. Some sort of judgment to be made. We do have the Page of Swords behind that. So there is somebody here. You may have been keeping an eye on someone. You may be sort of watching what they're doing, maybe asking friends. This is the card of research. So it's often the card of looking at other people. But it's also a card of an apology, and it's a card of, wanting to speak up and say something, express yourself. It's a card of communication, but it's only in page stage. So it's only a small offer. So sometimes this can be like an email or a text message from someone here. We do have the Hierophant behind that. So the Hierophant's about tradition, stability. So what we've got here is you waiting on something from the past to come back to you. There is some sort of lesson or stability or something you need here. Now, for some of you, because the 7 of Swords is here, it might be you're waiting on closure for something. Now, I always say to people, you don't need the closure. The closure is something you can do for yourself. So we have this idea that we need someone always to help us finish something. someone always to help us do something, and you don't need that here. Sometimes when someone ghosts you or leaves without letting you know why, then that question sits in your mind, you know, what did I do? What did I do wrong? But actually, most of the time, the person who's doing the ghosting is having difficulty saying what happened or what went wrong, or, you know, there might be a reason that they've done that. And I know that that doesn't always feel good, and I know it makes us angry. We've all been ghosted at one stage or another in our time. And it does feel, you know, very unsatisfying not knowing what happened, what went wrong. But you can still have your own closure in knowing that that wasn't your responsibility. That was someone else's responsibility. They take that with them. It's by no fault of your own. So it's about you understanding that you can move on and just put that behind you then. Okay, stop jumping out at me. All right, so we have the Eight of Wands coming in here. So something is happening very quickly, and we saw communication in that little mini read there. You've got communication coming in here. This communication can come across the airways. Sometimes it can be about love, because the wands do represent passion. So some sort of passionate message coming in. We do have the Hanged Man here. So this is about looking at things from a different perspective. So maybe something happened in the past that you've now seen in a very different way. Maybe you've changed your idea around what happened, but you're definitely looking at things differently now. And we do have the Wheel of Fortune coming. Isn't it beautiful in this deck? The Wheel of Fortune coming in here. So some sort of change that the universe is pushing to get ahead now. So sometimes if we don't do things, yeah, there's the message of passion here. Okay, so this is more of a love reading than what's cracking was. I just feel sometimes when we're urged to do something, you know, when you have that thought or that feeling that comes through, I want to move house. There's a good example. And then you think about it and it all becomes too much for you. And you're like, oh, I can't face the thought of moving. You know, oh, that's going to be really... And so you don't do it. And then what happens, it eats and gnaws away at you. You need to move. You need to move. You need to move. And you like keep fighting it because it's just too hard and you don't want to face it. That's very often your intuition or your higher self saying it's time now, you need to move on. And if you keep denying it, there comes a point where you have to go anyway. So then, you know, somebody comes in and if you're renting, they may come in and say, well, your lease has been taken away, or, you know, this has happened now, or you have to sell your house, whatever it is, because the universe has been trying to nudge you towards your destiny, towards your fortune, and you've been ignoring that call. So if you have something in your back of your mind that keeps calling to you, have a really good think about it, because that could be the direction you need to go in. But very often we ignore the universe doing that, and then eventually we are forced into change. This is what's happening here. Something has happened here where we have thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And then the universe has said, right, enough thinking now. This needs to be done. So something's happening here. I think this could be the energy of another person to you, but it could be you doing this yourself. Okay, so we have the Four of Wands here, which of course in the beginning with the Hierophant talks about stability. Somebody's trying to, Six of Swords, move away from things that no longer serve them and find stability in their life. Ten of Swords coming out. So we're seeing the end of a cycle here. And I think that was a repeat card too from the What's Cracking reading. There's the Emperor coming in here. So we definitely have, this Emperor was out too in the What's Cracking reading. So I think the What's Cracking reading probably applied to a lot more people. I'm drilling down in this reading. For some of you, this is about a love situation. Page of Cups, some sort of love offer coming in. Somebody's been... Okay, Four of Pentacles. Okay, so someone's been hanging on to something for way too long here. And we do have movement. So somebody's been waiting patiently. Somebody else has been hanging on and not moving towards them, you know, like the rented house. There is a movement here of somebody coming back towards someone here from the past to offer them something, some sort of offer here that will help bring in stability. So for some of you, well, absolutely this could be about love now. I have no doubt. It may be about other things for other people. But what's happened here is there's been some sort of situation in the past that wasn't resolved. And someone now is moving back to resolve this situation, to bring in stability. So maybe this situation left you feeling a little bit unstable. Maybe it took a long time to get past it, and a long time to heal. But now this person here, they've reached this Empress stage here. There's a feeling that someone's been doing a lot of work back here while they've been in denial, holding back and not willing to compromise. So that whole thing about, I don't want to move, it's too hard, I don't feel like it, I'm depressed, this would mean all of this stuff, I don't want to do it, you know, I might, you know, upset other people, I may not look good, and I don't want to look bad in front of my family. All of those sort of doubts and feelings here coming through. And this person has got to a point now with this Wheel of Fortune where the universe has said, no, no more. We're done. We're done. You need to go. This is a destiny here. This is your fortune, your future, and you're in denial about it. So there is some sort of movement here coming forward. So if people are waiting on someone to come back or return, if you're in a twin flame relationship especially, there is movement here where someone's starting to realize that they are this divine masculine and they are starting to move forward. There is a closing out of a cycle here that this person has refused or fought for a very long time, and they're coming in now. So with this Four of Pentacles, I just wanted to put a couple more cards on, because the Four of Pentacles does, Nine of Cups, I don't need to say anymore. That's it, that one wants to come out too, and there's a brand new start. So we have the Nine of Cups, which is the Wish card, and the Fool card coming out here. So someone is letting go because they're moving towards a wish and want a brand new start. It has taken a very long time for some people. I feel like some of you may have been waiting some months, some years for this to occur, but there's definite movement here. Someone's had a recognition of their place in the universe, and they're closing out a cycle, wanting a brand new start and realizing something here is their wish fulfilled. So they're moving towards it. Beautiful reading. Let's pull an oracle card and a long reading too. Okay. Alrighty, so we have a Breathe card coming out, and that's really easy to do. So one of the first things I teach people when they're having difficulty with anxiety or stress or anything like that is the benefits of deep breathing, diaphragm breathing. A lot of people don't realize that we are not in this culture taught how to breathe properly. So we tend to get high in the chest, lung breathing, which of course often incites panic and those feelings of wanting to move away from something very quickly. So meditation and you know, being in the moment, understanding, and we did have that in the What's Cracking reading, the patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, and trust. This card's all about this. So even though the universe is saying things are happening and something is moving, there is still patience required. So it says patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust. Breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to give the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe into the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will appear. I want to read the relationship message for you here too, for those who this is a relationship for. Don't be in too much of a hurry right now. The heart needs time to open. Take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety, for there is no need for tension. Savor the moment, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows what the ego often resists learning. Patience pays off in deep and meaningful ways. So something is happening, but it may still take time. But you need to trust that the universe is looking after this for you. Have a wonderful Wednesday.